Hey, what's up everybody? This is Jeff. Today I'm making this video to talk about FAA 107 and the process that I went through to get that and pass the test. So the first time that I actually took the test, I did not pass. I got a 67 out of 100. I started studying for the exam about a week before. I did not buy a study guide, and I just tried to go off YouTube videos. I missed it. A 67 is basically missing it by one question. So I was on the 3D robotics website. I waited till I felt comfortable with a passing score there. However, many of the test questions on that practice exam were not on the test. So I was getting blindsided by questions that I hadn't seen. The first test I took had a lot of METARs and TAF on there. Now, the second time I took the test, when I passed, I got an 80. I decided to sign up for a study program. I went with Remote Pilot 101. It's pretty good. It's $99, so the price is pretty good also. The thing about the test and what people might say, it does vary. So, well, like I said, one test had a lot of METARs. This test today had a lot of like scenario questions and quite a few aeronautical charts. It seemed like both tests had about 10 to 15 questions from aeronautical charts. So because when I was preparing for the second test, I was really focused on weather and aeronautical charts. And I would say still, those are the two biggest categories to really ping on. Also safety. There's a lot of questions about remote PIC. I think the remote PIC came up 3 times, and all 3 times on both exams, it was the answer was remote PIC. They really want you to understand the role of being a remote PIC. Now, 3 questions out of 60 is not a lot, but understanding, crew management, safety management, stuff like that. Yeah, I really think that you need a study. I know you need a study guide outside of what's free on the internet, because that investment, you want to make sure you're really comfortable with that, because even after all that, it's still about 70 to 80% of what you really need to know. So if you ace the study guide, that's about 70 to 80%. There's going to be about 20% of your questions that are still going to kind of blindside you, like hypotheticals that you're going to kind of guess on. So try to at least get like an 85% on your study exam, and 80% on your study exam. You definitely want to get over a 70 before you feel comfortable enough to go over there. And that's straight up, it's really there's really quite a bit of scenarios on this test today, and stuff that I didn't really like. Here's just a question they asked. Class Charlie airspace, you're in Class C airspace. How far is the range on the Class C airspace? Is it 10 nautical miles, 20 nautical miles, or 30 nautical miles? And I had never seen that in any of my study references. There was a couple other questions that came up. For example, and I'm just throwing out some questions to know, like rudder. What does the rudder control? Yaw. Just general stuff like that. They say you're not supposed to talk about what's on the test, but I'm not really talking about what the test questions are. More or less just kind of telling you some of the things to think about, like what controls the pitch and yaw and roll. Understanding that stuff, which is obviously a fixed wing question, really. Understanding critical angles of attack, center of gravity, and really, I'd say about 5 to 10 questions on safety, just knowing safety. general safety questions. Know the role of a visual observer, your maintenance logs, FAA questions, or I mean FAA accident reports, stuff like that. So I would say that in my case, it took me 3 attempts. I failed it once, but the second time I went back there, I didn't have the proper documentation. So that cost me a whole flight from the Big Island to Oahu. That hurt because that was a round trip ticket, you know. And what I was missing on that was my first test score. So I had all the documents except for my first test score that needed to be in there. I needed to have that document. So don't forget that if you didn't pass the first time, bring your document, because you don't want to go all the way down there and then be turned around, like I was. The second time I took the test, I was really anxiety ridden because I didn't want to have a third, you know, failed attempt, really. So like I said, I failed the test once, got a 67, and I really wasn't prepared for that. I mean, the second time around, I learned a lot from the from the study guide, and I was a lot more prepared for the second test. So I would say definitely don't make the same mistake that I made. Take the test serious. Sign up for a study guide, maybe remote pilot 101. Go through the full course. Don't miss anything. Do not miss anything because you never know what's going to be on this test. So I hope this reaches you guys and prepares you with some advice that should be taken. Advice that I would have liked to have heard, like firm, assertive advice. Take the test serious. It's not just something that you can pick up the books, not knowing anything about air charts or weather reports. In 1 week, you're going to be pushing your luck. I mean, you can maybe do it, but it's not advised. So give yourself about 2 weeks, study guide, and go through it. Give yourself 2 weeks, okay? Go through it again, and then don't stop there. Try maybe a 3D robotics practice test. Try more practice tests so you're getting a diversity of questions, and try to always get at least 80% before you feel comfortable with it. Don't just set the bar down at 70%. Put it at 80% because when you go over there, there's going to be things that you, honestly, you're going to get caught off guard and you're going to say, I never even saw this in any of my study material. That happened to me both times. So, all right, guys, have a good one.